Hey, it's me, Mello. In this video, I'll make a Smash Legends Dominion mode tier list. This is the mode I have played the most recently and have become somewhat good at. This tier list will be ordered from the best legend all the way to the worst legend to use in Dominion. And make sure to subscribe for more quality Smash Legends content. But before we get into the video, this tier list is based on my personal opinions and experiences while playing this mode. And let me know in the comments what changes you would make to the completed tier list. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Alright, so I'm going to start with the Vanguards here, and first up is Brick. I think he's like A tier because the walls he has just super good in Dominion. Being able to, you know, have something out that can push your opponents away from the objective is really good. Your opponents cannot do much about it, especially characters who are slow on the ground. It kind of forces them to jump, and characters like if you have a teammate that's like Robin, that's just insane, or any other marksman that can just like kind of catch their jump. It's really good. So, A tier, definitely. Alright, Cindy, so this might be a little bit controversial, but I do not think she is that good in Dominion. Like, right now, she's kind of in a weak spot, especially after all the games I've played. I do not see people play Cindy, especially in ranked mode. There's definitely a reason. I don't think she's able to output that much damage compared to other Vanguards. But yeah, I think she's really good at chasing the opponent and able to like displace them really well. But other than that, there's so many other characters in this game, so many other legends that can just do that way better. But yeah, that's why she's C tier. So alright, so we have Don here. I think he's like extremely good. Like he's pretty solid overall. Being able to have your ultimate there against really strong characters like Rapunzel and Alice, who have a bunch of stun moves, it's really good to have that ultimate in there. But yeah, also his skill is really good at like just pushing the enemies back far enough, especially if you have that, I think it's called the enhanced shield ability. It's just really good. Yeah, otherwise he's pretty good. I would use him. Alright, Kaiser. So honestly, as a Kaiser main, or I guess you could say former Kaiser main, because I don't play him too often, especially since I'm just playing Dominion mode, I do not use him a bunch. He's probably in C tier, especially with all the nerfs he's getting, but his knockback and his ability to just like send opponents off the objective for a long time was just, it was a really good thing about him, and that's why I used to play him a lot too. Just being able to send your opponents flying away for like, and they're just gone for like 5 seconds. It's really strong. But yeah, not being able to do that for long enough, it matters. Like those few seconds or those few interactions you have, and if you like miss a skill or something, you have your cooldown for like I think 6 seconds, which is a lot. Yeah, no, he's C tier. He's not in the best spot right now. I wish he was better. But yeah, on to Marina. Marina, I think she's pretty solid. She's just, she got nerfed a little while back. The cooldowns on her moves were increased, so she wasn't able to spam too much, which I think was a pretty decent change. But she was definitely better. But that was strong, like being able to be all over the place, especially with her skill. She was just super fast. But yeah, in Dominion, I like that she has her rare ability where she can just jump 3 times, especially if you want to hold on to your point for like 1 more second to wait for a teammate to come back. It's just really good. Or you can just not have it and have it as like a mix-up. But yeah, otherwise I think she's probably under Dawn. She's also better than Cindy in Dominion, of course. But yeah, we're going to Maya. This is my secret main. I don't know if any of you guys have seen my Maya before. I mean, I think she's good, but in Dominion, she is map dependent. She's really good on the Zapata factory. She has really good mobility, And in maps like that, or maps with jump pads now, the movement is insane. She just has, I think, a few bad matchups, but that's just because the assassins in this game are just really good. But yeah, her charge skill is really good. Sometimes you can catch your opponent off guard. Just use a normal skill instead of your charge skill to be less predictable. I would kind of place her, I think, over Marina, especially since her ultimate is just super, it just goes super far and it just covers a wide distance. Just being able to knock everyone out of the way is just really good in some scenarios. But yeah, she's in B. Alright, so T-Moon. She is really, really good in Dominion mode, and that's because her skill, like her kit in general, is just, it feels like it's kind of built for Dominion. I've been kind of a little bit biased in this because the rank 1 in North America right now, I believe it's and their T-Moon is absolutely crazy. It just does so much. She's all over the place. She can just, like, being able to have armor is just really good, especially when you're moving with her ultimate. Her basic attack also having armor is insane. So she kind of struggles against like stun characters because she's kind of grounded most of the time. But other than that, I think she's still a really solid pick, so I'm gonna just put her up in S tier. It's just insane. The armor and being able to just like win interactions for your team and stuff, it's really good. Last Vanguard here is Yang, and I like the ability that he has. I forgot what it's called. I think it's I'll put it up on screen here. And just being able to get your air skill back after hitting an opponent is just really good, especially if you just want to knock a bunch of enemies out of point easily. His air skill hitbox is pretty uncontestable, especially if you're playing many low range characters. You can still, I think you can trade with it. His ultimate is also solid, but it's just very punishable. That's the one thing I wish Yang had less lag on his ultimate. Maybe I'm just desperate for Yang buffs. It's not looking good for him, but I think he's somewhere around C tier, maybe above Cindy. So yeah, C tier. Alright, I'm going to get onto the specialists. Who was the first one? I think it's Ducky. Yeah. Alright, Ducky. She's okay in Dominion. I wouldn't use her all the time. If I want to stall, I'd probably use Ducky, especially since her ultimate lasts so long in the air. She can just kind of just stay in the air for a good 2 seconds at least. I think that's the max before she can get punished. But her ability with the broom, she can just summon brooms around her each time she uses her ultimate, is really good, especially if you do not want people to try and punish as soon as you're using your ultimate. She can get kind of annoying at some times, but you just need to just let her fall. I think it's just to let her fall, let her charge her ult, and then just hard punish her as soon as she lands on the ground, because she is not going to be able to 1v1 your character, I assume, as long as you're not playing someone with really slow, low range. But even with all of that, she's probably a C tier. She's under Cindy. Even Swan form here is pretty solid, but the only thing is you just become predictable as soon as you turn into Swan. Most people, unless you're a really good Ducky player, most people just autopilot and they're just mashing the basic attack, hoping to hit someone, and not really playing patient and waiting for their opponent's defensive options. Yeah, no, I think Swan is pretty good, probably somewhere around here. But yeah, that's it for Ducky and Swan. Alright, Lauren and Vex. So, this is a Dominion character. Like, she's a Dominion character. Her ultimate, you can add an extra player to your game with Vex. That's what Vex is. Being able to shoot out the orbs there is just really good. Also, if your teammate can capitalize on Vex hitting your opponents, it's just gonna be really good. So, she's also an S tier pick. She can knock you back, she can spike you. She has a pretty good basic attack that can just close the gap. And most important of all, her air auto is insane. Then she can just stay in the air for a good amount of time and kind of stall for her teammates to come back. It's like insane the amount of stuff Lauren and Vex can do on the Dominion mode. So yeah, no, that's 100% an S tier on that. Alright, Victor. I've played him a bit in Dominion, but not non-ranked mode. But I have seen people use Victor a lot, and he seems pretty solid, especially his ultimate is also really good at just controlling space with his mines too. You just got the extra damage boost, just insane. Like his damage output is insane. His knockback is also really good, and being able to just avoid moves and stuff with the mobility he has is really good. So I think he's probably somewhere around here. All right, and the last specialist is Lettuce here. She seems very overpowered. Her skill is insane. Her ultimate is insane. The orb she has, she can just force the opponents to like move in a certain way or to try and move out of the points. So she could just kind of throw her orbs and it kind of solves her problems most of the time. Unless you have, of course, opponents that can deal with that, like T-Moon. That's why T-Moon is also really good. She's just a direct counter to Lettuce. Her movement is also really good. Her air skill, her air auto. But yeah, I think she works on. She's really good on most maps too. She doesn't have too many weaknesses, I think, other than T-Moon and the stun characters, of course. I would kind of put her, like, Lettuce is probably an A tier. Like, she's really good. Now we're gonna start on supports, the support characters. Alright, Alice. So I think she is really good in Dominion, just being able to stun opponents. She is somewhat, you could say, teammate dependent. She needs good teammates to be able to, capitalize on her stuns and stuff like that. But otherwise, as long as your opponents don't know how to activate your mine before getting stunned, I think you're like really good. So yeah, it's a really good S tier. She's just able to control so much space with her mines and stuff like that. It's definitely a good character to have on your team. It's absolutely insane. So yeah. And Goldie is our second support here. So I would say Goldie is like really good, like in Dominion. She's good at being able to heal her teammates as long as they have a bunch of multi-hits. I mean, even if you don't have multi-hits, it's just good to be able to heal from hitting your opponents. It's just extra reward. Her ultimate is also insane. Being able to stun enemies, you just keep them there, and your ultimate for a good, maybe it's like 3 seconds long, which is a lot. It's like equivalent to an Alice stun from one of her mines, I think. It's similar to that, but being able to keep your opponents in your ultimate for that long is just super beneficial, especially if you have teammates like Snow or Red who can just rack up the damage really quickly. It's insane in terms of being able to just knock out your opponents really quickly and being able to help your team live longer, which is always good to have. So yeah, no, easily an S tier. Octavia. Alright. Octavia's gotten some nerfs like in the past few patches. Her healing though is really good. Being able to have instant health, it's just nice. Her super armor and the hitbox on her ultimate is also pretty solid, especially since it kind of follows the opponent. So you can kind of use that to your advantage and kind of push them out of point. Or you can use it to combo too, which is really nice. She can be an annoying character to fight, especially since she can heal with her air skill, and her air skill gives her armor. So healing teammates and keeping them alive during fights, it's always something good to have if you want to kind of push your advantage too. It's insane. I think she's like over here. She's like an A tier probably. Our last support will be Witch Queen. So Witch Queen being able to of course polymorph your opponents into frogs, like that's insane. They just turn into little frogs, can't do anything, which is it's funny and also very useful in Dominion mode. It's really good if you want to turn around a team fight. You just land your ultimate. It has a pretty huge hitbox, so that's really essential. She can also stall for a good amount with her air skill and her air auto too. Like you're just able to kind of just float in the air for a bit and you can just wait for your teammates to come back and help you in a fight. And the skill slow is also really good in most cases, especially with characters that just want to capitalize on any debuffs from their opponents. So I think she's probably, yeah, she's probably an A tier. Alright, so I'm going to do Marksman now. Starting off with Flare. Flare is, she's pretty interesting in Dominion. She's like most Marksmen, but the nerfs over the past year have definitely hurt her a lot. And she's not as good as she was back then. She's able to kind of, you know, control the zone, the points pretty well. She does need teammates and someone to support her, or else she's just going to get easily overwhelmed because her defensive options she doesn't have. She's not good at running away. She only has her air skill, and that kind of becomes predictable. And if you're in disadvantage, it's just kind of over for her most of the time with these strong, like top tier characters like Snow. She's definitely in a tough spot. Her ultimate though is crazy. Being able to just control and slow your opponents down is really good for team fights and that controlling the entire point practically, which is also really good. And her rare ability is also insane. Being able to just get more of your ultimate out after you use it is nice, especially against slower characters that can't really escape her ultimate, like Kaiser. I've seen it plenty of times. If she just uses her ultimate, Kaiser gets stuck in it. She uses her air basic to kind of, you know, cover that space. Then he's kind of, he's kind of just stuck there, and just he takes 1 billion damage practically, and it's funny. But yeah, other than that, her air basic and grounded basic aren't that good, especially with the weird angles. It's definitely a character you kind of want on your team, but I would definitely pick someone else or another marksman, you know, kind of replace Flare. So I think she's kind of in D tier right here. Alright, Gumi. So I think I've seen a lot of Gumi players recently. Yeah, her ultimate is really fast. She has super armor with it, and she can kind of, you know, go from opponent to opponent to opponent. As long as she has her rare ability where she can recharge her ultimate as soon as she hits an opponent, which is super good. And she's also able to heal from that too. I think it's one of I think it's the rare ability too where she has that. She also has somewhat of a fast air skill. She can cover a pretty wide range, but she definitely needs her ultimate because she doesn't output too much damage constantly, at least. Like with her ultimate, she's able to just auto ultimate and then get another auto and then ultimate and, you know, knock the opponents out of point, which is really good. She's also able to, if you have one of her abilities, I think it's a normal ability where she's able to just auto. If you auto attack, she just runs super duper fast. That can kind of get her out of some bad situations against most of the fighters and assassins on this list. So yeah, I think she's really solid. She's probably above Victor. I would probably put her above Victor. Sorry, Victor, but yeah, otherwise a really solid pick for Dominion. I'd recommend her. Alright, Hook. She's the OG marksman. She's got really good range. She's of course able to, you know, output a bunch of damage, which is really good. I think her main issue is of course with most marksmen is her disadvantage. Like when she gets going and when she has her ultimate out, it's definitely really hard to deal with, but she gets overwhelmed so easily, especially if she's fighting on point. So that's why I see many Hook players, they fight on point and they kind of just get demolished. So definitely staying out of point can definitely make you harder to reach, and it's really good against most of the assassins that are definitely just trying to annihilate you with any chance they get. So she's able to just output a bunch of damage, especially if you have lightning and the aggression enchant. It's absolutely horrendous with the amount of damage. Like I think you're able to do up to 4k damage with like a certain set of abilities, and one move, like her skill is so insane with the amount of damage it does. I'd say with all of that, I think it's like really solid, so I put her in top of B tier. Our next marksman will be the Ram. Alright. But yeah, he's also a really good pick for Dominion. His air skill is almost uncontestable as long as he positions it well. His ground skill is really good for comboing, really good if you if your teammate knows that you're going to do a ground skill. And if you land it, it can lead to a bunch of combos. It's really good for setting your opponents up in the air, maybe forcing them to jump towards point or just to jump away. In general, you can just react to that, which is also really good. And his ultimate is also nice. I don't know about his rare ability. I don't think I would use it for Dominion mode. I think I would just opt for the extra damage. So yeah, I think I'd put him probably somewhere above Octavia. He's there. So yeah. Alright, Robin. Probably the best marksman on this list in general. But for Dominion, he's also really good. He's able to poke at a distance safely, and he is very fast compared to the other marksmen. His moves don't have that much lag, and he's pretty mobile. He can get out of certain situations with his ultimate. He's got super armor on it, and he can just move around really quickly, and not many characters can deal with that. So kind of just deal a bunch of damage with his ground skill and his air skill. You'd see him mostly fighting outside of point. Robin is just in the back waiting for you to attack his teammates, and then he just ground skills, and it's kind of, he just does so much damage. But yeah, I think he's definitely an S tier pick. He's probably above Goldie when it comes to like giving value to your teammates and being able to get enemies off of your teammates. It's also really nice. Alright, so I'm going to start with the assassins now, and this is kind of interesting because they're like really good. Like almost all of the assassins in the game are insane at just being able to get 1 or 2 hits and kind of just knock out the opponent really fast. So I'm gonna start with Snow here. He's insane as long as you know how to combo with him. And also if you play passive, you can just wait and then skill, but he just becomes that much scarier when you're more involved and you're just kind of all over the place. You're air skilling, you're comboing with your basic attack into your ultimate and stuff like that. He is definitely very elusive, and he can definitely bait out a bunch of attacks from opponents. He can escape almost every combo in the game as long as he has a big enough window to. It's really insane the amount Snow can get away with. He can practically win fights 1v1 easily as long as he's not predictable. He's definitely hard to deal with. He's like super insane, so definitely an S tier for sure. Wolfgang, probably my ace in Dominion right now. He's really good at just surviving, especially if you just got 1 skill or 1 auto. You just deal a bunch of damage. But yeah, the one thing that kind of makes him like easy to deal with is of course he's got a really big body. I think it's almost similar to Kaiser, like it's like huge. You can definitely attack him pretty easily, but he's also really fast. His air auto gives him really good mobility, but he can definitely struggle with knocking the opponent out of the Dominion point. If you like miss an auto attack, he doesn't have much to knock the opponent immediately out of point besides his ultimate, so you definitely need teammates to kind of help you get your skill in. Like that's his, like I think his job is definitely to just skill and then take your opponent out of point and keep them out of point as long as you can. His pressure is also really good, being able to just be on top of your opponent at all times. That's kind of what I do when I play him. I just skill, I get them out of point, then I kind of hard pressure and wait for their options out of disadvantage. So I think it's just really good. I like playing him. I think he's good, especially with his ultimate ability, being able to live for longer, especially with that lifesteal ability, being able to heal, I think 40% more. So you can practically heal full health most of the time, which is also really good. And I think he's like S tier. He's definitely really good. I would want a Wolfgang on my team 100%. Yeah, we got Red here. She's really good. She's somewhat predictable. Most Red players are predictable. Unless you fight against a good Red, then that's when it becomes tricky. But yeah, she's kind of like Snow in terms of being able to combo and get a few hits in and then use your ultimate to kind of run away or escape a combo. But her damage is also crazy, like 4,000 damage a hit, which is insane. That's like almost a one hit on probably Ducky or something. Like I think Ducky's max health is like somewhere around 4k. But yeah, her basic attack is really good at just taking opponents out of point. Her skill is just easy for quick knockback, just to get your opponent out of point. She's got really good combos. So yeah, no, I definitely think Red is a really strong pick. Probably enough to be A tier. Kurenai. Alright, so I've also been playing Kurenai a bit recently for Dominion because I've also seen the rank 1 in North America play him a lot, and I think he's really good. His air skill, being able to take your opponent out of point for a good while is essential. You kind of need it. Yeah, his basic attack is also quick. It does a lot of damage. His ultimate is also good, especially if you have that ability that throws, I think, a few extra shurikens. You can kind of use that as a mix-up, and it lasts longer, so you can hold your opponents out of point for longer, which is amazing. His ground skill is also good for just dunking and spiking your opponents off stage. You just kind of have to wait for your skill. Other than that, I don't think you have to interact too much. Just kind of focus on one enemy and then pick them up with your air skill, do the combo with your air auto, and they're kind of gone from the game for like a good, like probably 2 seconds, which is good, and then you can just focus on someone else. So that's good. It's insane. So I think he's probably somewhere, I think he's above Goldie. Alright, so Ali, he's really good in Dominion. I've been playing him a lot recently too. His skill is really good, especially since he's able to set it up and kind of mix up where he's going to go. Like, he can use his ground skill and then your opponent will probably want to cover that, or they kind of have to choose. Do they want to go for you or try and cover your dagger that you left out there on point? It's really good at setting up many situations, kind of like 50-50s. But yeah, he can also kind of trap himself when he does that, when he skills and then his dagger is out and an opponent is covering his dagger, but another opponent is also going after you. So sometimes that's like a bad scenario, but most times there's definitely more than 3 people to focus on. So it'll definitely just be another obstacle for the enemy team, which is really good. His ultimate damage is insane. He can just do a billion damage practically each time he gets a basic attack, or he gets you close to him before his ultimate comes back to him. It just does so much damage. He can combo off of it. He can also stall in the air with his ultimate, which is really good if you want to hold point for 1 or 2 more seconds before your teammates come back. It's something really good to have. Yeah, no, he's definitely insane. Like, he's probably over Brick. I would definitely want him on my team. Alright, so we have the last class here, which is the Fighters. And I think this is the class with the most legends in it currently. So I'm gonna start off with Aoi. She's really good with her ultimate, at least. Her ultimate is really good and on point, but it's very slow. That's the thing. If it was maybe a tad bit faster, like Yong's, similar to Yong's speed, it would be crazy to have that much damage in that amount of time. But yeah, she definitely struggles with speed and being able to catch up to her opponent. She just gets outsped by like practically almost all of the cast, at least all the other fighters and the assassins too. She struggles with a lot. But yeah, no, you do not want to be playing aggressive with AoE. You definitely want to be in the back line and supporting your team, getting them out of combos, setting up your ground skill to slow down the opponents. Like, that's a good thing she has, but I wouldn't say she's like the best at slowing down opponents. Like when you have characters like Witch Queen, she can do that, but like her radius is so much bigger compared to AoE's ground skill. It's definitely not looking good for her, but yeah, I definitely put her in C. She's not the best. Alright, so we have Jacko, and I think we both know where he stands on this list. He's easily an S tier. He's like probably under Snow. And the reason for that is he can just do anything practically. He can armor out of opponents' combos. He can combo opponents for like hours. I'm exaggerating a bit there, but he can definitely combo opponents for so long. He can knock them back really far too with his ground skill, and his rare ability giving him another skill to use is insane. Like, the amount of tools Jacko has, it's really good in Dominion, especially if he has teammates that are able to capitalize on his ultimate and his combos. Like, they can just tag in and deal a bit more damage, which is insane. It's like outrageous the amount of things this character can do. And he's still getting buffs. But hey, I mean, it's good for all the Jacko players though. So we got Nui up next. She's kind of like a support character. She feels like a support character. She deals a lot of damage, but she also can support her team with the extra speed ability that she has. I think is the spreading warmth ability. Her skill can increase the speed of your teammates, and you just go zooming. It's really good, and her skill is just like it covers a huge amount of space, and she can play around that, and she can kind of basic attack into her skill, which just deals a bunch of damage. Her ultimate is insane. It does a bunch of damage, and it also knocks opponents really far. It's insane, the amount of knockback and damage that she does, and she's able to stall in the air for a good while with her air skill and her air basic too. So I definitely put her in like A tier here. But yeah, up next is Parfait. Being able to freeze opponents is also really good with ground skill. Her air skill covers a good amount of distance, and the angle too is also pretty good. Her air auto is very quick. Her ultimate does so much knockback and so much damage. It's like super good at just keeping opponents out of point. She can just keep them out of point for so long. It's insane. And oh my gosh, her rare ability. She can like heal herself. She practically gets a second life once if she has her rare ability. Once she's like under a certain amount of HP, she just heals back up, and it's insane. She can stall for like a good 2 more seconds in point just because she loses health, which is insane. That's like this is one of her many strengths, and like that I definitely put her in S tier here. She's probably like near current 9. So yeah, Peter, one of the OG characters. He's really good. His ground skill is really good at knocking back opponents, especially if you have the ability Heavy Sword. Super good for Dominion mode. Just being able to just get that extra knockback from his ground skill is really nice to have. His ultimate covers a good amount of point, which is also nice to have. His basic attack and his air autos are pretty simple, and his rare ability is also good for combos. As long as you have teammates that are able to capitalize on his rare ability, it's super good, especially if you have a teammate like, of course, one of the assassins like Snow or Red here. But yeah, I think it's really solid. I'd probably put him, yeah, probably there above Octavia. Alright, Master Cat. So the thing about Master Cat is his combos. In Dominion Point, when there's a bunch of people around and they're all clumped in one area, it's kind of hard to get his combos and it's hard for him to deal damage without getting hit himself. I would say he's definitely not good in Dominion mode. If you're not able to 1v1 your opponent on like maybe the Zap Lab factory map where you're like contesting for the top. Yeah, no, I don't think he's that good at being able to kind of knock opponents out of the map. He's just good at comboing, and that's what he does best, but he's not able to do that so frequently, especially with a bunch of people around the same area that can just knock him out of his combo. So yeah, no, he's definitely going in C tier, probably here. Yeah. Alright, Molly, she's really good. Her counter is crazy. Being able to just armor through hits and stand still ultimates like Ravi's or Rapunzel's or Zep's. Her air skill is really good. It can probably be out characters that want to land with their air autos like Jacko and Goldie here. Her ground skill is also really fast. She can use that to close the gap and maybe get an ultimate out to like help a teammate that's probably getting attacked. And her rare ability gives her an extra skill that she can use, which just helps her a ton with dealing more damage and being able to use an extra air skill. It's really good. Her basic attack is also good. Her air basic can spike, and her grounded basic attack can keep the opponent out of point for as long as she's able to get it off. So she's really good at keeping opponents in disadvantage for longer amounts of time. So yeah, definitely an S tier. I'd probably put her like somewhere here. Yeah. Alright, Rapunzel. So Rapunzel is like probably the top pick for Dominion right now. She's like insane. Her skill is super fast and it can stun. Now with the recent buff, I think she got a couple patches ago, it can just bring her opponents to her and it helps with her combos. And it helps also in team fights. If you bring your opponent closer, your teammates can also get to you sooner and deal more damage quicker. So just being able to do that is also really good. Like, I'd say she's definitely good at just also disabling what the opponents want to do. Like Snow, like if you stun Snow, he's just dead. He's dead. Especially if you have teammates that are able to capitalize on her stuns well, they're dead. Most of the time, you get a skill, and then she's able to combo you with her basic attack or her air basic. She can juggle the opponents in the air for a good amount of time, and her air skill can knock them back if they're in the air for too long. So it's really good the amount of control she has over the point and her ultimate as well. She's definitely an S tier right now. So Ravi, I use him a lot. I used him a lot when I got rank 1. I think 2 seasons back. As of recording this video, I think 2 seasons back, I got rank 1 with him. It was like 30 something games that season with Ravi, which is really good. I got like a win streak. But yeah, he is insane in Dominion mode. He's probably somewhere around S tier, like definitely for sure. His ground skill is really good. It's really long range, especially with the rare ability. That's what makes it super good for Dominion mode, his rare ability. Just being able to get more range for your ground skill is also really good, and being able to decrease the cooldown for your skill. So I usually get knocked up, and then I can just use my air skill in disadvantage, and I can do that more often with the rare ability, which is really good. His ultimate is probably the best in Dominion. Like, it's super good. As long as your opponents aren't Alice or Rapunzel, they are not stunning you during your ultimate, which is really good. He can control the entire zone for however long his ultimate is. And that's really good, especially if you want to, wait for your teammates to come back, or especially, I use my ultimate to catch opponents in the air, especially with the attack, the ground basic attack, where I can just hop in the air and then I just catch opponents trying to jump over me. that catches a lot of people also trying to stall, like Witch Queen or Gumi, like characters that like to jump a lot. It's really good at that, and his damage output is insane. He gets his skill fast enough with that rare ability, just does a bunch of damage. Your teammates can capitalize on his ground skill and his air skill really well, and his air basic is good as, like, I use it as an approaching tool. I just air basic, then I just wait for my opponent's reaction if they try and move away from me and they kind of like circle around me. This is what I usually see. I just air basic immediately as soon as I jump, and then I'm able to have enough time to get out an air skill. So it's really good. So yeah, he's gotten me rank 1. He definitely deserves the S tier. Like he's carried me definitely through all those games, those ranked games. So yeah, Wukong. Alright, so I think Wukong's really solid. I also used him at like 2 seasons ago when I also got rank 1, as I said, with Ravi here. I played like half of my games with him. He is really good at just knocking opponents back, being able to keep up the pressure, especially when your opponents are in disadvantage. His air skill is really good at just knocking opponents away. It's really fast, and not many people expect it. His ground skill is also really good, especially if your teammates are able to capitalize on that and they just get so much more damage. His ultimate is really good, being able to armor through attacks, and the range on it is also really good. His knockback, like the amount of knockback he's able to do, is insane. He's definitely an S tier. I'd probably put him above Alice there. Yeah. Alright, and we got Zep. Her ground skill is good for combos. Her air skill is really good for spiking, especially on the space dock map. That's where I would use her the most, because those early kills with her ground skill is just really good. Her ultimate is really strong too, being able to switch between the uppercut or the hammer. Both are still really good knockback, and especially her uppercut, it's mostly a one punch, as long as they're, I think, below 80% health. And her rare ability makes that even stronger, which is really good in certain scenarios, especially if you're armoring through like Ravi's ultimate or Nui's ultimate, as long as you don't get demolished by the damage she does. But yeah, it's really good. She's got some solid combos. Her basic attacks are okay. So yeah, I think she's overall a solid pick. I probably put her around A tier here. Alright, so this is the finished tier list here. I couldn't put Javert in because I do not know much about Javert in Dominion. I haven't played against him too much. I'm still pretty new to to playing Dominion, so I might not know everything yet, but I will update this in the future. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.